Hello again and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is BGFH and we are looking at a piece of hardware that I have been waiting for quite some time actually. Been a little bit snarky about it on Twitter here and there. But earlier this year, I don't even remember, the end of January, early February, the Oculus Rift officially became pre-orderable, and the official release was, God, what was it like? It was either the beginning of April or beginning of May. I can't even remember anymore. It's felt like ages ago. Nevertheless, there's still, Oculus is still having some shipping issues, but I think they're starting to catch up because even my shipping estimate was ahead of what they originally had estimated. Originally they were telling me June, and then I got pushed back to July, and then out of the blue, got home one day and saw an email and a message from PayPal saying that I had officially purchased my Oculus Rift and that it would be shipping soon. So I have finally gotten my Oculus Rift, you guys. So it is time for a hardware review, and I'm going to do a hardware review for it, and then I might show you also a little bit of this. It depends if I can get this video combined together, or I might do a little part one, part two sort of thing, where this part I'm going to look at the hardware, and then I'm going to show you a really quick overview of the PC software. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you Oculus Home because at this time, at least to the best of my knowledge, it does not mirror the Oculus Home experience from your headset onto your monitor, and that seems to be the only way that my video capture software is going to be able to record that. So, wow, a lot to talk about here. And also, before I go on, I think I've decided what we are going to do is I've actually recorded a bit of virtual reality content, Oculus Rift content already, some of the experiences that I've been having in the headset. And I thought about having them as my, I've already got a lot of videos queued up, even in addition to virtual reality stuff. But I think what I'm going to do is, I don't know, coming up with the 4th of July, everybody's having their summer sale. I don't know, just because. And, like I said, we've been waiting for VR for such a long time now. And it's exciting. And so I'm recording this on Friday night. And I'm thinking either Sunday or Monday, we are going to have ourselves a little VR week on Illegally Cited. So this is the first video that is going to go up, and I think we are going to have ourselves, like I said, I'm going to release a series of videos, 1 or 2 a day, on different VR experiences. Many of them are games, some of them are not games, but yeah, I just want to show you guys an introduction to virtual reality, because really, as a new medium, there's a lot to say. So let's get into the hardware review here. And this is the Oculus. Now, I do have it hooked up to my computer. I thought about unhooking it, but I'm like, I'm not going to unhook all the cords and yada yada. But this is the headset itself. There are actually 4 components to it. You have the headset here. You have the Oculus remote. You have the sensor camera, and then you have the Xbox One controller. So here is the headset, and while I am here, let me just grab, here is the Oculus remote. It's just a tiny little thing. This is really meant for navigating, maybe not so much games, but, if you're watching like 360 video, if you're doing some simple kind of interactive experiences, just kind of watching, like I've watched a couple of these animated, or one was like an animated thing Another thing was like a kind of a sciencey thing where they were taking you through the body, that kind of a thing. So it's just a tiny little remote. Now, I should mention the remote itself, I feel kind of stupid because when you get it, there's a little tab, a plastic tab down here. Now, you're supposed to just be able to pull it off, and it's supposed to like come off inside and like just go whoosh. And I've seen things like that before. And they, they usually do. Well, mine didn't. And I got it just stuck right at the very end there, and there's still this little plasticky crap, and I couldn't get it out. I'm like, oh crap, how am I going to get this? Because I don't see any way to take it apart. What I didn't realize until like a day or two was that this back part actually slides off. Like, I don't know if it's really probably tough to see with the little shininess of the back here, but you can slide the back of this off, and that's actually what I ended up having to do because some of the plastic stuff didn't come off, and right away I was not able to pair my remote with my Rift because there was a little part of plastic that was kind of on one of the part of the battery sensor or part of the battery inside, so that it wouldn't kind of make contact, and just for shipping. And I don't know why it said that, but anyway. So just to let you know that you can slide the back off, and it goes down towards, and it's pretty much the whole back is what slides off. So just to let you guys know that, so you don't make the same stupid mistake I did. So in the front, you've got basically just a really simple round up, down, left, and right sort of a thing, typical. And then in the middle, you've got your little OK button, or your select button. You've got volume up and volume down, little plus and minus buttons. Hopefully that comes in clear enough. So you get a plus, minus, and then you've got like a back button and an Oculus button. So this kind of will take you to your Oculus home. This is kind of like taking you back, sort of a thing. And the plus and minus is really what I wanted to get this thing working for, because, like I said, until I got that stupid plastic out the first day or so, I couldn't adjust the volume. That's kind of a really important thing. So there's your Oculus remote. Now, in order to use the Oculus, I will take you into a very scary dive of my wiring mess, because I just kind of have it propped up back here. There is a little sensor bar guy, or a sensor camera here. Yeah. And it is, you can kind of swivel it up and down. It's just a tiny little pole. I actually thought it would be a little bit taller than it is, but it's a tiny little camera, and this is what you use for head tracking. So when you when you're leaning forward in a game, or leaning kind of side to side, you're trying to, avoid enemies or something. You want to kind of lean around the corner or lean around an obstacle. That's what keeps track of that. Now, when Oculus does eventually release their touch controllers, it sounds like you're actually going to get another one of these cameras, and you'll put one on either side of your desk, so that you have more accurate, not just head tracking, but like limb tracking. It's not going to be a full room experience, maybe like something like the Vive, but you are going to be able to have like a smaller, kind of a smaller area in front of your desk or whatever, where you can stand and, like I said, do more, realistic motions. Now, on to the main event. This is the Rift. There is one really long cable, and I'm glad it's really long, and I'm glad it's really thick. This is a thick cable, and I'm really glad because, just having it all around and stuff like that, kind of having it bend or whatever you're trying to, be. I'm trying to be as careful as I can with it, because I know over time, the cords are going to get, they can kind of get kinked and stuff like that, and I want to avoid that as much as I can. But it starts out as kind of like one cord into the headset, and then it splits off into basically what you have to have for your actual computer rig is I have these plugged into the back. You need 2 USB 3 ports because one is just for the camera back there, and then this cord splits off into one USB 3 to power the Rift and transfer data, and it also branches into an HDMI cord. So your video card is going to have an HDMI out, which mine does. I have a GTX 980 and NVIDIA GTX 980, so that works very well. I mean, it was actually really, like I said, it's really easy to set up, but you just have to make sure that you have enough ports. Now, your USB 3 ports are usually going to be kind of a blue color so that you can kind of make sure that you're not plugging them into a USB 2 port. I haven't tried plugging them into a USB 2 port, but I don't think it actually works if you do that. So the headset itself, it's actually really comfortable. I'm trying to grab this one-handed here without... Come here, you. So here is the headset. You've got these really cool looking... you got these really cool lenses here, and these are like OLED screens, man. They look really cool. And you see that light there? That's actually a head sensor. The device actually detects like whether you are putting it on your head or not. So when you do put it on your head, like when you take it off, it kind of goes to sleep, and when you put it on, it just takes about a second, and then it pops up to either the game experience, or if you're not in a game, it'll bring you to Oculus Home. So you have the lenses here, and I like the fact that it has, and it seems like this part is actually replaceable, which is good. These really kind of nice, I don't know what you call them, like a foam sort of an insert for just to make it more comfortable around your eyes and your forehead when you put the thing on. See, it's got a little bit of a clothy nose hole there. And I think, like I said, when I put this on, I also try not to make sure, just because, like I said, I think of anything, this is the part that's going to wear down the most over time. And I think, I don't want to, I'm pretty sure that this part can come out, and I think you can replace it. At least I'm hoping, because like I said, I can see, like, multiple people try it on. You just use it over time. It's going to wear thinner. If you're sweaty, you get sweaty in the Rift. That kind of thing. Maybe you'll have to replace that eventually. But there you go. Now the strap itself, you actually have 3 Velcro things here. So there's Velcro here, there's Velcro on the other side, and then the top, there's Velcro up here. So what they tell you to do is you unvelcro this all the way, and then you kind of unvelcro these a little bit, and then you slide, because this whole kind of mechanism here, you can see, let's see, like right here where that little line is, from here, this little part here, they slide backward, so you can kind of adjust on both sides, like to adjust your head. Like when I took it out of the box, it was far too small for my big skull, so I had to undo that and then make it fit my head. And now I can actually take the Rift off and put it on pretty easily now. Aside from this this little protective part for your the little comfort area here, I would say the other thing that could wear down over time are these little Velcro straps, because Velcro just, over time, if you unstrap, if you undo and then redo them a lot, they kind of wear down over time. So I'm going to try not to, try my best really not to have to tamper with this so that it'll last, because I don't know. Oh, shut up, Mitomo. Sorry about that notification. I don't want to take these off, or I really don't want to adjust them as little as possible, because unlike this other part, I don't know if I can replace these, like if some of this Velcro stuff starts to give. So, but once you get it set, you know, as long as it's really just you using it, it's actually not that big a deal. And I want to say the headset is comfortable. It's very light, especially once you kind of get it situated on your head the way you want it. Now you want to have it so that this part up here and this part back here is like a rigid plastic. And this is meant to take some of the weight. You know, it's thicker back here and it's rigid because it's meant to hold the Rift on your head, and rather than having your nose have to prop up the headset in the front. So if it's kind of pushing down on your nose, you're probably wearing it wrong. Like when I'm in the Rift, like it's this little plasticky or this little clothy stuff really isn't even touching my nose. I have a little bit of a breathing room there. Now the other thing that people say, I don't wear glasses, but I've heard different reviewers say that if you do wear glasses, you can do it, but it's a wee bit on the tight side. So I guess it's up to your discretion whether you want to do that or whether you'll still have to do that. Like, I don't know, depending on what your vision is like without glasses, if you will be able to see what's in the Rift still. And that gets me into what I'm going to talk about a lot in a couple of my future videos, is that in some of the virtual games and experiences, I had this wonderful discovery that you're sometimes able to lean in to read interface elements like menus and dialog boxes and pause menus and different things like that, which is excellent. And in other cases, you sadly can't. I'm not going to say a lot about it here because I do get a little bit preachy, or, well, not a little preachy, but just because it's helped me so much, I talk about it a lot in my first game video for Dread Halls. And because I find it so helpful, I can't help but stress the point that something this little can very, very, very much help me and other, you know, visually impaired, legally blind gamers. But think about not just that, think about all the people who wear glasses. If it is kind of uncomfortable to wear glasses, if, you know, you had that ability to lean in into the interface on a consistent basis, then it would help everybody. And they can't, the developers or whatever, they can't just say, oh yeah, but that's just a small market. Who we're not going to waste so much time developing for that because it doesn't really matter. There's a lot of people that wear glasses, and I bet you they would be really happy if they maybe didn't have to because of something that they could do within the Rift itself. So, a couple of other things to note about the Rift. On the bottom, you have a little slider switch, and I'm not going to switch it right now. But this actually moves the lenses a little bit inside. So if the image looks a little bit blurry to you, or like depending on like how your eye structure is, like if you have, like if they're far apart, if they're, you know, a little narrower, I don't know exactly. But you can adjust that slider to make the image clearer and make it look more comfortable to you. So that's right on the bottom. It just slides left and right. Now here's the surprising part that I actually really like. There are, in addition to the, of course, visuals for the Rift, you also have built-in headphones. Now these things, they're cool because they're actually, I guess you can take them off if you want to, although I'm not exactly sure how. But they slide up and down, so depending on the size of your head, and they kind of move, they kind of tilt in and out like that. So again, depending on how big your noggin is, you can get them on there. It takes a little bit of adjusting for me to get the audio just right. But like you have these nice little, and again, I want to try to avoid being really sweaty in here because I don't want to ruin the ear pads in these. But what I'm surprised at is that these things sound really good. Like, for what they are, you know, I don't need to wear yet another device on my head. I don't have to go wear my giant PX22's headset on top of wearing my Rift, because the games actually sound pretty darn good in these this built-in audio. So it must come from like the HDMI, I would guess. But it's, yeah, I'm actually quite impressed with the little headphones that come on this thing. And I'm not sure where it is. I think somebody had said maybe it's on the left side under here somewhere. The other thing, in addition to the headset, when I take you into other videos and I'm recording an Oculus video, there is actually not even a boom mic. It's just built in there somewhere. And it does have a microphone built in, and it works also very well. I have recorded several videos up to this point inside the Rift, and again, I don't have to wear my PX22s. I don't have to get a boom mic or some kind of another mic to do anything. I am quite satisfied with both the audio output and the microphone input of the consumer version Oculus Rift. I think that Oculus did a really good job. They really wanted to focus on the user experience and the quality of the hardware. I mean, it feels like a consumer product. It doesn't feel like a kind of a beta or a work in progress, a prototype. It doesn't really feel like that. And I've used an earlier development kit last year, like I had said earlier on the channel, but I can't, I don't remember. I'd have to go see the old one again to remember how they compare. I remember it being a little chunkier, a little boxier, maybe not as light, maybe not as comfortable. But yeah, I mean, overall, the hardware itself is, I really don't have any complaints about the hardware. I think it's actually quite good. I haven't really showed you the shot of it from the front, but back up a little bit. There you go. The Oculus Rift. I still think that's kind of a cool name for the headset. I mean, if it wasn't such a new, like virtual reality wasn't such a new technology, the name of it kind of sounds a little like, I don't know if I want to say pretentious, but like one of those weird like futuristic names. When you say it, it kind of sounds cheesy, but it kind of sounds awesome at the same time. I'm kind of glad they stuck with Oculus Rift. It just sounds cool, like futuristic. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really haven't said about the hardware. I talked about the headset, the visuals, the audio, the comfort, how to put it on, the sensor camera back there, the remote. Oh, and it does come with an Xbox One controller. Like I said, it is a wireless one. And not only that, you actually get a wireless USB dongle. I don't have it plugged in right now. I actually have it with my, I have it plugged into my Xbox One controller I already was using, and I think, let's see if I put it in, no, that's a thumb, or that's a, trying to think where I put my, where did I put my, I thought I put it in this drawer here, my little USB wireless adapter. I'm going to have to track that down. Uh-oh. I don't want to lose that, because that actually might come in handy. I was going to show it to you, and I thought I had it right in here, but apparently I am mistaken. Sorry guys. It's just like a USB. Huh, really? I'm gonna have to figure out where the heck I put that. It just basically looks like a big old thumb drive. Let me check over here once. By my remote. Yeah, okay, it's over here. Cool. Here you go. Here is your Xbox wireless adapter. It's just a little USB thingy. It's got a pair button right there on the side. So when I plug it in and I want to pair it and sync it with my wireless controller, there you go. I am going to put that in here for now so I don't lose it in my desk drawer here. That is kind of a quick look at the hardware of the Oculus Rift. Now, like I said, I'm recording this on a Friday. Wow. I've actually had this headset now for just under 2 weeks. It's hard, man. It's hard to believe that, like, I got the headset on Monday, and like that's the start of E3, and it's already 2 weeks ago, and man, it's just time is flying. But I've had quite a bit of time here and there throughout the week, and especially last weekend, where I've tried quite a few different virtual reality experiences. I'll talk about the headset or the software in the next part or the next section of this video. But the setup process was actually really easy. Like I said, I just plugged it in to the HDMI and the USB 3, plugged in the sensor. I was a little unsure where I should put the sensor, but I just kind of put it right up by my monitor there. And it's, you know, if I sit back a little bit, it seems to work generally fine. So I haven't had any real problem with that. But I will save the kind of talking about some of the general experiences maybe when I show you the Rift software in the next section of this video. So we're going to wrap up this part here, and I will talk to you guys in either in a minute or in the next video for kind of part 2 of this sort of hardware first look, hardware review of the Oculus Rift and its accompanying software. So talk to you guys in a bit. Stop recording.